Where have you been? I got a little something I want to talk to you about today. So before we leave 2016, I thought I should have some conversation with you about what to expect for next year. Listen, I could not leave 2016 without us actually having a conversation. I hope you've actually gotten some much needed downtime, investing time with your family, your friends, and just giving time for yourself to kind of recalibrate and reflect on a wild year. I'm sure for you, it has been wild. For me, it has been wild. We've had some ups, we've had some downs. But with just a few hours to go left in the year, I thought it would be really good if we at least had a conversation about a few things to expect in 2017. And so I've got a couple of ways I've been trying to think about this. I said, well, I could come up with a new acronym maybe for 2017, or I could come up with something really, really motivational. And I realized that, sometimes the best way to communicate is in simplicity. And so what I have is the 4 C's to 2017. So we know that 2017 is upon us, and so the first C that I have is change. Yeah, this little thing. Let's just be honest. Change is going to happen to us today. It's going to happen to us January 1, 2017. The date doesn't really matter, but what we do know is that change is going to happen to all of us. Something's going to impact us. Something is going to be a voluntary change. The types of change that you actually set out and do things about, working out, the new plan that you have for getting work done, the new software that you install so that you can, make a process more efficient. Whatever that is that you decided to do, we are going to change voluntarily for whatever we put our time into. But then there's also forced change. And the truth is that just like in 2016, we saw some things that came to us that we were not expecting. They were impromptu. We woke up one morning thinking, I've kind of got this day under control, and something kind of flipped our day. We are going to have forced change. We are going to have those things that come into our lives that, quite honestly, we weren't expecting. The truth is, though, is that how we handle that change really determines how we see the process going forward. So what I don't want us to do is to walk into 2017 and think, oh, I've got this new outlook on life and there's going to be nothing I can't, grasp and master. While that may be true, I want us to also have realistic expectations to realize that there are going to be things that are going to hit you that we're not prepared for. And so what I want you to realize is that change is going to happen in 2017, just like it happened in 2016. There's some that you are going to initiate, and there's some that is actually going to happen to you. And so how you handle both and where you spend your time and your energies and your focus and your mindset when those things happen is really up to you. And that's what's really going to determine how you actually move throughout this year. The second C that I want to share with you today is challenge. Yes, challenge. This word. We know that you're going to have voluntary change and forced change, but all of those things are also going to cause us to have some challenge, whether that's physically, mentally, socially, work-related. We are going to face challenge in 2017. The key is that how we handle that challenge is really what's going to determine the way that challenge either ends or continues to linger on in our lives. Now, I have to say, I will be the first to admit that in 2016, there were some challenges that honestly I should have responded to. And instead, I reacted. I reacted out of fear, out of hurt, out of doubt, out of confusion, a lot of different ways. But what I will tell you is that in 2017, the best thing you can do when you are met with challenge is to respond in a different way. Don't react to your challenges. They're going to come. And I just ask that take a moment, breathe, and then make the decision. And make the decision with a clear mind. Don't make it with your emotions. The third C in the 4 C's to 2017 is commitment. Yes, this word. So how can you do better throughout the changes you're going to make and the challenges that you're going to face? How do you deal with this word? Well, I'll tell you, it's actually simple to say, harder to do. And that really comes down to making a conscious effort every single day to choose to stay committed. I mean, regardless of whether we like it or not, it's really going to be the thing that is going to separate everything that we see and that we do. Commitment is about consistency. The consistency in the mundane things, the same thing every day, being sharp at those different things, learning to find the joy in the mundane things, because the truth is that a lot of times that's where the energy and the magic happens. It's not always in the big wow thing that just happens to you. That's not how real life happens to many of us. It doesn't happen like that to you, and it surely doesn't happen like that to me. Where I find that the greatest rewards are in the things that I stayed committed to. Commitment is going to be very, very important in 2017, and there are going to be a lot of things politically, socially, economically, mentally, and physically that you're going to be challenged with. And the question is going to become, at that moment when you have a decision to make, are you going to stay committed? Are you going to stay committed when you want to quit? Are you going to stay committed when you have every possible reason to say I'm done? Are you going to stay committed when no one's looking? Are you going to stay committed when all eyes are watching? That is going to be the thing that you really want to ensure that you separate your 2016 version and making your 2017 version. Be serious about your commitment. And last but not least, in 2017, the 4 C's that I really want you to focus on. So let's just recap really quickly. We've talked about change, we've talked about challenge, and we've talked about commitment. Now, all 3 of those are great, but this last one is going to be really important, because in every single one of those different things, you always have the power of choice. Yep, this little word right here. Now, it's important for you to note that the power of choice is huge. See, the choices that you have in 2017 are really no different than the ones that you have today while you're watching this video. They don't change just because the calendar changes another day. They don't change just because you decide that, oh yeah, well, you know what, I'll get to that on another day. No, see, choice is about when you make that decision, that's what it is. And that's the way you really kind of need to live your life next year. And I would say that be willing to make choices. Make the hard choices. Make the ones that nobody else is willing to make. Make choices that are going to allow you to even be committed to yourself. And so when it comes to choice, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter whether you feel like the world is against you, no matter whether you have some very serious decisions that you need to make, you still hold the power of choice. And so I want to encourage you today that even if you have to make the tough decisions, even if you have to make the decisions that are unpopular sometimes, you know they're right though. You know that in order to do better than where you are today, you need to make different decisions, and you need to make more consistent decisions. You need to just make the decision to do the right thing at all times. And so I really want to encourage you today. I hope that you choose to realize that choice is going to be your greatest asset next year. Nothing else, no other fancy new app, no other new show on Netflix, no other new show that you can binge watch, nothing that you can do, no other pair of headphones, no music, nothing of outside external force is going to be greater than the one that you have internally, which is the power of choice. So I really want to encourage you today, no matter when you sat down and started watching this video, no matter when you thought that you can make a particular choice, you have it right now. Go make it. Don't be worried about the outcomes of that decisions and what people are going to think. Some of the best decisions you will ever make will be when you do them on your own with no one else's approval. See, many of us are afraid to make certain choices because we're looking for someone else to approve before we make a decision. It's no different than the baby who's learning to walk and then they keep falling, and when they fall, they look back for their parent for the approval that they're okay. You no longer need that. The power of choice allows you to continue to move forward because there's something internal in you that lets you know that you need to make certain decisions. Don't be afraid to make them. Go out and make them happen. Hey, well, that's what I have for you. I hope you find it empowering. I hope you really give some time to thinking through how you're going to apply the 4 C's 2017. Change, challenge, commitment, and choice. The choice is yours every single day. Go out and make it a great one. Listen, I hope you've been able to enjoy podcasts, articles that I've written, interviews that I've done. I hope in some shape, form, or fashion, whether you see me speak at a conference near you or an event, or we've just ran into each other, we've had some conversation. I want to thank every single person who's inspired me this year, whether we've met officially in person or whether I've been able to read something that you've done. I want you to know that your life is important, and it's important to me that you would give me your time and attention to watch this video. Thank you to every single person, and I hope you have a great Christmas and a happy New Year, and I look forward to serving you next year in 2017. Have a good one. Bye-bye.